Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bookmakers Reviews coverage of the Bundesliga. We are BMR. I'm Martin Green, your host. This is Matt Lawerence, our esteemed guest. He's taken time out of his busy Thanksgiving schedule to join us and talk through the Bundesliga and give us his favourite picks. So thank you for joining us, Matt. Have you enjoyed the Bundesliga in recent weeks?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's especially with the shock Bayern Munich defeat. That was pretty incredible.
Incroyable. French, actually. But yeah, incredible. Losing to Augsburg. I did think the line was a bit steep. It was like minus 2.5 goals or something. But yeah, it was a bad defeat. I thought they would get the job done there. So that's blown the title race wide open, I guess. Well, even without Erling Haaland, who's been injured, Dortmund are now just a point behind. So well done to Dortmund. Tough game coming up against Wolfsburg, but we will get to that. Hey, CR7's in the house. Great to have you here. We are going to start with the game between Stuttgart and Mainz, which is taking place on Friday. Mainz are doing very well at the moment. 3 wins and 2 draws from their last 5 games. Stuttgart having a shocker. They're on a 4-game losing streak and 1 draw in their last 5 matches. Just above the relegation zone, but it's not looking great for Stuttgart, is it, Matt? Do you think Mainz can get a result here, can get an away win?
It's going to be tough. I mean, Stuttgart, they won home and away last year in this fixture. So but yeah, they're in a really bad way right now, and they're in a dark place in the last 4 matches. So they've got to find a way to get out of it and snap out of this. But just like in the first match, really, of Serie A, I just don't have anything here in this one. Mainz's last 7, though, I've seen both teams to score. I could definitely see that one coming in. And in general, in the league this week, I like a lot of goals. I mean, I was looking right before we hopped on, over 1.5 in all matches, pays out at plus 475. I mean, it's very interesting. And you only need 9 matches to do it, since there's only 18 in this league. So, yeah, but in this one, I have nothing. Do you have anything, Martin?
I also have nothing in this one, and I'm surprised that they put Stuttgart versus Mainz as the Friday game once again. Cagliari Salernitana. It doesn't make much sense when you've got great games on the cards like Koln versus Borussia Mönchengladbach, which I probably would have picked out as an entertaining game. Hello, Edward. Wagering wise, the Bundesliga has been excellent. The Bundesliga has been excellent. The best part about the Bundesliga for me this season has been fading Furth. Well, we're going to get to Furth later. Yeah, nothing on this one. So we will move swiftly along to Hertha Berlin versus Augsburg. Augsburg, the conquerors of Bayern Munich last weekend, which nobody was expecting, considering they're having a pretty poor season so far, Matt. I mean, that kind of got them out of the relegation zone, but they're still huge underdogs in this game against Hertha Berlin. Do you think that's going to give them belief and confidence, and they can go on and get a result in the capital, or are Hertha going to be too strong for them at home?
I think it's just one of those classic things, Martin, of first off, it was coming off of an international break. Yeah. Augsburg step up to play Bayern Munich. They're looking to play, their best match of the season. And then now we have a road match where you can easily kind of take your foot off the pedal and not be nearly as focused and kind of step down towards a middling Hertha side. So I think a lot of people are going to kind of gravitate to take Augsburg here as like a popular underdog, but it's really not for me here. Coming off of that big victory against Munich, I again in this match, really no interest whatsoever. I mean, goals have been definitely flying in this fixture, though. When you look at the last 6 head-to-heads, 5 of 6 have gone over 2.5. Most of those have had both teams to score. And Augsburg being able to put a few past Munich, that'll definitely bring some confidence, at least in front of net. Will they be able to stay as composed at the back as what they were in that match, because they were fantastic. I watched the last 25 minutes really of that match, and they were really resolute at the back, and kept the door closed and held on to that lead nicely. But yeah, in this one, really no interest either way. I don't know where to go on this one, but so I would lean towards goals over 2.5.
Interesting. I was just going to say I've got nothing on this game either, but if I had to go for anything, I'd probably go for under, because Augsburg have only scored twice on the road all season, and Hertha keep things pretty tight at the back when they're at home. Only 6 goals scored, 6 goals conceded in 5 matches. So, whereas on the road they've shipped 20 goals, which is the second worst away record. I guess if we can't make our minds up and the odds aren't that great either way, I would definitely say pass this one. I don't have an official play for it, and I think there's lower hanging fruit a little bit further down the card. He says as we move on to Bochum versus Freiburg. I do like this one a little bit more, I have to say. Freiburg still third in the table despite losing very surprising defeat to Eintracht Frankfurt last weekend. No shame about losing to Bayern 2-1 in the game before that. But they're still third in the table. They've only lost twice all season. They're coming up against newly promoted Bochum. I think they can go and get a result there. What do you think, Matt? Do you think Freiburg can turn things around in this game?
I do too. I looked at this one really hard. I agree with you. I think the away side makes some sense here. But Freiburg have struggled to beat Bochum. I mean, they've only beat them one of their last 9 head-to-head, so it's very weird. Bochum seem to kind of have their number, but a lot of those are really dating back to a longer period of time, so that really doesn't account for anything here. I would be looking towards the away side. I think that they should find a way here and get back to winning ways. But yeah. I mean, they were able to be competitive against Munich. They've had some nice victories against Wolfsburg, Hertha, Stuttgart. I mean, yeah, they're very tough to beat. Freiburg's a very difficult team to beat. So, yeah, that's where I would be going here with an away win.
Yeah, I mean, they've only lost one away game all season, and that was against the mighty Bayern Munich. So I really can't see them losing to Bochum. I was quite tempted to. It's just such a difficult game with the line, because I was really tempted just to go for a Freiburg win. I'm just a little bit nervous about it could end up in a draw. So I've gone for Freiburg draw, no bet. The odds aren't great. I just can't see them losing. Definitely for a parlay piece, Freiburg draw, no bet appeals to me. Straight, I think you get about minus 160, I think it is, on just Freiburg draw, no bet. That's quite a lot of juice. Sometimes you've got to squeeze it, I guess. I quite like it. I quite like it. Just draw, no bet, Freiburg. Just don't see them losing. Don't see them losing to Bochum. Anyway, next up we have Koln, or Cologne, as we call them, coming up against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, both teams to score has paid off in 10 out of 12 Cologne games so far this season. They're one of those really entertaining teams to watch. And Gladbach have just been banging in goals left, right and centre. Really on fire at the moment. Thrashed Bayern Munich. They absolutely... I gave them like a minus 1.5 against Furth last weekend, and they won 4-0. They're just on fire in front of goal. All I can see is goals in this one, Matt. Are you with me?
I'm with you all the way. Both teams to score in over 2.5. It's paid off in 4 of the last 5 head-to-heads. And like you mentioned, Koln and just they're scoring goals, and they're getting involved in really back and forth basketball matches. And it's a team that I want to definitely be involved with when it comes to overs. And yeah, both teams to score over 2.5 at 1.8. Count me in on that one.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm going for that too. Love that. Okay, next up, CR7 banker. Gladbach draw, no bet at 1.72. Yeah, I think Gladbach are the team to get the job done there. I guess you could go for Gladbach and over 2 goals or something if you wanted a bit more value, get it a bit closer to even money. I do see goals in that one too, but yeah, I'd be leaning towards Gladbach if I was going for the outrights. Next up, we have my favourite team. Just my favourite team in the world right now, more so than Arsenal, more so than anyone, is Greuther Furth coming up against Hoffenheim. Furth is just the gift that just keeps on giving. 0 wins, 1 draw, 11 defeats from 12 games, and they've just been getting hammered in recent weeks. Every defeat has just been heavy. They look out of their depth in this division. It was Benevento a few years ago. I bet against Benevento every week and just made a load of money. And this season, it's Furth. They are the new Benevento. They're the worst team in any of Europe's top 5 leagues. They're coming up against Hoffenheim, who Hoffenheim haven't got an away win since August. But if there's any team you want to be ending that trend against, surely it has to be Furth, man. We've got to be opposing Furth again, haven't we?
I think so. I mean, there's no reason to really fall off the tracks with that. I feel like my mom's going to be like wondering like how I got her so many presents this year when you're looking at Furth, like just the way that they are just shipping goals for fun. Like you mentioned last week was an easy -1.5. I was on that one too. Kind of just taking a page out of your book and just continuing to try and fade this side. And why not again? The last home match for Furth, I mean, they were more competitive. They almost were able to squeak a draw against Frankfurt, but then some capitulation at the back line. And they do what bad teams do. They give away late, very meaningful goals. And Hoffenheim, I mean, they've been in, like you mentioned, like bad road form, but they are doing okay in general. I mean, like the 2-0 win last week to Leipzig, like to be able to keep a clean sheet against Leipzig, who just scored 4 or 5 yesterday in the Champions League. I think that they're a team that should be able. This is their get right spot. Like this is like, okay, come on, we're on the road here. We're going to Furth, and like we need to grab all 3 here. And so I've gone with Offenheim and over 1.5 just to squeeze a little bit more value out of it. The line is set at basically 3.5. So they're expecting a lot of goals here, and I'm expecting a lot of goals for Offenheim. So yeah, 1.8 -125. Count me in to fade Greuther Furth one more time.
Greuther Furth, get out. Yeah, I'm on the exact same one. Me and Matt have gone. We don't confer before we come up with our picks, but the picks that you sent me were identical to mine in 3 different occasions, and so hopefully it's a case of great minds think alike. But yeah, I'm on the exact same page for this one. Hoffenheim to win and over 1.5 goals. They didn't just beat RB Leipzig, they absolutely battered them last weekend. I know RB Leipzig had more possession, but 23 shots on goal from Hoffenheim. They were so dangerous on the break. I know Furth aren't going to play like that against them, but I think they should have enough creativity and enough firepower to get us over the line in this one. So yeah, let's oppose Furth and keep opposing Furth until it finally lets us down. Okay, next up, Wolfsburg versus Borussia Dortmund. I mean, you could say that this is pretty much the biggest game of the weekend in the Bundesliga, but it's not one I particularly like the look of from a betting perspective, because Dortmund are a gung-ho attacking team that concede a lot of goals, score a lot of goals. Wolfsburg are a tight defensive team that really keep things very solid and disciplined at the back. Bit of a clash of styles. What do you think, Matt? Are you going either way on this one?
This was a really tough one for me as well. I know it's a good match, I think, to watch from a neutral perspective, but not really something I want to get involved in. It's one where Dortmund completely dominate the head-to-head. They're undefeated against Wolfsburg in their last 12. They don't get beat by them, like whatsoever. Like when you go through the head-to-heads, it's crazy. Like a team like Wolfsburg, like who's been in this league for a long time, like as we know, they're Champions League quality. They have not been able to beat Dortmund in years, and like you mentioned, like a lot of these matches really haven't been up and down basketball matches either, like you expect from Dortmund matches. I mean, they're like the unders have really come in a lot in the head-to-heads, and Dortmund just conceded a lot of goals in the Champions League, so I feel like defense will be top of mind. I really wanted to like kind of buck the trend and go against Dortmund in this one, but I really don't want to mess with it whatsoever. I mean, it's hard. Like I couldn't disagree with anyone that wanted to take Dortmund just because of how they purely dominate Wolfsburg, and they are kind of on a bounce back after the Champions League debacle. So, but yeah, nothing for me. This was a pretty easy swerve.
Pretty easy swerve for me too. If I was going to go for anything in this one, I'd have a little fun bet on Daniel Marlin to score. He's plus 245. So I'm obviously not going like hard with any sort of stake on that, but a couple of bucks. Like he's been leading the line in Erling Haaland's absence for Dortmund, and he's scored in each of his last 2 games. He's a very talented player, so have a little go on that maybe, but probably not, to be honest. Again, I don't think it's a great game from a betting perspective. Next up, we've got Bayern Munich, Bayern München, up against Arminia Bielefeld. And it's going to be an angry Bayern Munich, isn't it? I mean, well, they didn't need to beat Dynamo Kiev really in midweek, but they did. And now it's time for them to reassert their dominance over their domestic rivals, Matt. Can we see anything apart from a heavy Bayern win here?
No, there's really no value to be had. But if you're going to take this match, and we hit on it a couple weeks ago with a Bayern and both teams to score. I mean, look at this. I know that Bayern are favored. You know, it would take $1,200 just to win $100 in this match. These two teams drew last year 3-3. And in the first meeting that they played in, it was a 4-1 Bayern Munich. So when you're looking at both teams to score and Bayern to win at plus 140, that is the only way I would go here. I mean, the fact that Arminia were able to score both matches last year, not just, but I mean, they scored 4 goals in the 2 meetings. And Munich are shipping goals. They shipped one against Kiev. They shipped a couple against Augsburg, and they've been known. Like I'm not a huge fan of their defense. I think that it's going to let them down in the latter stages of the Champions League, which is really all that matters for Bayern. Really, I mean, we know that they're most likely going to take this league. That's what they've done for the last decade. But yeah, I do have some concerns about their defense. I'm not nearly as high on it as maybe the market would say. So, I think that both teams to score and Bayern to grab all 3 points at plus 140, like that's the only way I think that you can even bet this game.
Music to my ears, Matt, because that is exactly how I'm betting this game. Once again, I'm not going in as hard with my stake as I am on some of the other ones, but I'm going for, but I actually got it at plus 150 yesterday when I put my tips together and got my bet in. It has since gone in, plus 140, maybe even a little lower actually now with some sports books. But I do think it's worth a go. Bayern Munich haven't kept a clean sheet in 6 games. Like you said, 4-4 and 4-1 and 3-3 last season between these teams. I think Arminia have scored in 5 out of their 6 away matches so far this season as well. And like you, very unconvinced by this Bayern Munich defence. They just ship goals. They concede more than a goal per game, and it's just the kind of gung ho football they play. And I think often they just switch off. Often when they're like 4 or 5-0 up, they just sort of concede a stupid goal here and there. So, I mean, it's not obviously no guarantees here, but I've got Bayern Munich and both teams to score. I guess if you were concerned, you could do a little smaller stake or another stake on Bayern Munich to win 2-0 and hedge your bets, because I can't see Bayern Munich losing this game. But I've just gone for Bayern and both teams to score. That looks good to me. Next up, Eintracht Frankfurt, who did win 2-0 last weekend, up against Union Berlin. Union Berlin don't lose much on the road. What do you think about this one, Matt?
Very interesting. I mean, the last four meetings between the two, they've all been basketball matches. Both teams score over 2.5s coming in. Union Berlin, I mean, last eight away trips, both teams have found the back of the net, but they're a very difficult team to beat. Just a couple weeks ago, I was on them, and at plus a quarter against Koln, and I like the overs as well. I mean, this is one of those teams I want to be involved in. I want to be on them in an underdog role. And I generally in those matches, like when you take the dog, you're expecting the match to also kind of be higher scoring, and that's where I see this one. Both teams to score for me in this one at minus 125. Looks pretty good. Union they're a tough team to beat, and Frankfurt are really going to have to be on their game. But I mean, when you look at it, like just 7 goals the last meeting that these two teams played, 6 the previous one before that, and then 3-3. I mean, there's just been goals coming, and yeah, I decided not to push it to the over 2.5 as well. I just decided to be a little bit more pragmatic here, but yeah, both teams to score at minus 125. It was probably one of my favorite bets on this card.
Ooh, like it. Yeah, there's a lot of basketball games, as we say. There's a lot of those open, entertaining, high-scoring games in the Bundesliga. And I'm hoping that this weekend things revert to type a little bit more. Last weekend was a really difficult weekend with the coming off the international break. Like, I had no luck in the Premier League last weekend, but I think there was a lot of normal trends just weren't really playing out because there were so many teams that were not together. They'd lost their momentum. A lot of players were fatigued. So I'm hoping that things are a bit more as they usually are this weekend anyway. So let's hope we get lots of basketball games going on in the Bundesliga. Final game is RB Leipzig versus Leverkusen. Difficult team to work out, aren't they, RB Leipzig? Like we said, didn't manage a shot on target against Hoffenheim. And then they went out and battered Club Brugge 5-0 in midweek. Still kind of finding their feet under Jesse March. But I don't know, Leverkusen are a good team as well. I was trying to give Leverkusen some sort of plus handicap because I saw that they were quite big underdogs. But there's no value in giving them a +1 or anything. So in the end, I had to leave it alone, and I just would go with the usual classic, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, because I think this is going to be an entertaining one. What do you think, Matt?
I agree. I mean, when we went through the Champions League correct score, I had a feeling that Bruges would be competitive in that one. I didn't end up betting it, thank goodness, but there is no way that like anyone can really tell me what Leipzig are. They are so Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know what you're going to get mid. They're at least I think the one thing that I can say is they're going to create chances. Are they going to put them away? I'm going to bet so in this one. I do like both of these attacking lineups. I mean, and that's where I'm going to go. I have no idea who's going to win this match, but I do think that both teams have enough firepower in front of net, enough chances should be created that both teams score, and then that we do find a winner here, and it pushes over the 2.5. So, but yeah, really, when you look at the head-to-heads in this one, the last 4, none of those have seen both teams score and over 2.5 come in. There's been a few both teams to scores, but there really hasn't been. Leipzig got the better of them in the last head-to-head 1-0, but yeah, I think that we can buck the trend here. I do think that this is going to be an open and entertaining match. And yeah, both teams score over 2.5 at minus 120. Sign me up on this one.
Great. Yeah, me too. Me too. I think he's still trying to find his best formation and stuff. Like, they seem to play with a diamond midfield against Bruges. Yes, in midweek, and it worked well with 2 up top, and Forsberg given a bit more license to roam on the left. Thought he was brilliant. So yeah, I think they will. I think they will bounce back in this game and get on the score sheet. I'm not sure if they are going to win it or not, but yeah, I mean they don't keep many clean sheets. Both teams score quite often when Leverkusen play. Yeah, just looks like a both teams scoring over 2.5 goals game to me. So I am totally with you there. Right, It's time. It's time. It's that time of the day again for the wizard to weave his magic. Please, Mr. Wizard, can you give us our... There we go. Okay, I've got, not great odds, must admit. Freiburg, draw no bet at -160. Could just go for a straight Freiburg win at like +130 if you're feeling bolder. Hoffenheim Hoffenheim to win and over 1.5 goals against Furth at -118. Both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at -125 in the Koln versus Borussia Mönchengladbach game. Yeah, I got both teams to score and Bayern to win at +150 yesterday. Gone in a bit since then. And then again, that bet, RB Leipzig, Bayer Leverkusen, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, -125.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We're singing from the same song, it seems like, in the Bundesliga, Martin. Let's hope that it pays off. Koln, Gladbach, both teams to score over 2.5. Hoffenheim and over 1.5 at -125. Frankfurt, Union, both teams to score at -125. And Leipzig, Leverkusen, both teams to score and over 2.5 at -120. I really like those. I think that there's going to be a lot of goals. It looks like it could be pretty cold in Germany, which kind of talks me off of this one. But I think that a lot of these matches are going to be open and entertaining, and might have a little small pun on over 1.5 goals in all the matches at +475. It looks decent.
Okay, sounds good. Well, it's freezing in England, in the UK. So if there's anything like that in Germany, it's winter. Winter has come. Winter came for House Leverkusen. Okay. Thank you very much, Matt, again, and thank you to our wonderful viewers for taking time out of your busy Thanksgiving schedule to talk all things Bundesliga today. It's been a real pleasure. We will be back with the Premier League show and La Liga Primera tomorrow, which I'm very much looking forward to. Thank you very much, Matt. Thanks, everyone. Hope we get lots of winners this weekend, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.